This is a special message out to members of the John Birch Society and our friends. A lot of people are discouraged over the election yesterday, which turned the House over to the Socialist Democrats. You shouldn't be too discouraged with that because there were a lot of Republicans that were not much different than the Democrats in the House of Representatives. What we saw was those that really had strong campaigns made it through, generally speaking. Those that kind of pussyfooted around got defeated. We saw that particularly here in the state of Wisconsin, where the race against the incumbent United States Senator was lost because it was not a really forceful campaign. The governorship may well be lost because it was not a forcible campaign. The issues were not very well delineated and discussed and pointed out to the voters. The thing is that we have a great opportunity going forward at this point to educate our fellow Americans. For those of you who are not members of the John Birch Society, I urge that you join the John Birch Society now and get involved with us in educating people as to good government, the Constitution, the dangers and the opportunities that lie ahead on the political landscape. Because we have a number of issues that are coming up that would need to educate people on, such as the free trade agreements, the United States, Mexican, and Canadian agreement, for instance, which replaces NAFTA. It's a very dangerous agreement, and it will abrogate the provisions of our Constitution. It will also take out of the hands of Congress the ability to make decisions over our own economy in trade. For instance, the Constitution says that only Congress will have the control over trade with foreign nations. We are giving that ability away, taking that away from the Constitution of the United States, taking that away from Congress and placing it into the hands of an international commission. So these things are very, very dangerous. This election also points out the dangers of a constitutional convention or a convention of the states, whichever one you want to call it. Basically, they're both the same thing. It demonstrates that the people may not send the kind of delegates that you want, the majority of them, to such a convention. If they send the delegates that they have sent to the House of Representatives yesterday, for instance. These are individuals who want to do away with the Second Amendment. These are individuals that want to make other changes to our Constitution that are very, very dangerous. We need to educate people on these things, particularly our state representatives. Join with us in educating people like that, going and seeing them personally, sitting down with them, and pointing out the dangers of some of these things that look like they're good solutions on the surface. But in the long run, when you really delve into them, they're not so good. They're in fact very dangerous to the future of our republic. You cannot buy with hundreds of millions of dollars any vote that's not already there. You cannot educate people if you've got a wimpy campaign but spending a lot of money just to get your name out there to the voter in hopes that the voter will remember your name when they go to the ballot. That's not the way it works. People need to be educated as to what they're voting on and the differences between the candidates, forcing these people to address those issues that are pertinent, that are important to the future of our republic. There's only one way that will be done, and that's if we go out and educate the electorate to that end, to where they force the candidates to address the issues that really are meaningful, that will have a difference in our future for our country, for our children, and our grandchildren. Don't be discouraged by losing the House. You know, we gained individuals in the Senate that appear to be individuals that will vote for good and confirm good justices on the Supreme Court in the future. Very important. And that's going to offset a lot of what's going to happen in the House. We see, I think, some pretty difficult times coming forward in the next couple of years with the kind of things that are going to be thrown at us by the socialists in the House, in league with the national media. They're going to make the America First agenda look terrible, look racist, look anything that they can call it to try and destroy their international agenda. Keep in mind that the Democrat Party has not moved to the left. They are only exposing themselves for what they've always been. Now, there are Republicans that way too. They have an internationalist agenda, and we've got to do everything we can to expose that, because they are going to do everything they can to destroy America First, destroy the Constitution, and get us linked up in like the European Union and other agreements that tie our hands. Don't ever forget that if a country loses control of its economy, it will ultimately lose control of its own government. That's the way these things work, and that's the free trade agenda in a nutshell. So don't be discouraged. Tighten up your belt buckles. Join the John Birch Society. Get back active if you have not been active recently. Form new chapters of the John Birch Society, and we can get this job done if we have the will to do it. We have the will from here. We ask that you have the will from there as well. Until next time, we'll see you then.